Hey, hey Lois. Hey Lois. The Leaguie's gonna stream the 2026 season of Rugby League 26.
You know what, Peter Griffin? That is absolutely 100% correct. That is arguably, I think, the most intelligent thing you've ever said, Mr. Griffin. Hello! I've always wanted to start a stream like that. I've always wanted to. And today's the day that I did. Sorry for being a couple of minutes late, by the way. Reason was about a bajillion different things. But I've just had my mum come back from Europe. It was going to be yesterday, but then anyway, we got our dates confused. So I was going to have to leave throughout this stream at some point, just like 5 minutes to say hello. But she got back earlier than I expected. So I now will not have to leave, so it's fine. All I can really describe today as is you guys seeing behind the scenes access to how I film things. I really, really enjoyed the stream that we did for the AI channel, where the video had like audience interaction, so we'll be doing some of that. But basically, you're probably going to see me do a few takes of different lines and stuff as I work my way through the narrative of this video. But it did very, very well last year. So yeah. Can we get a back reveal? It's just the same, but green. Let's get into it. I actually need to remember to start recording. That would have been bad if I had not been recording all of this. All right. Lendog says the game hates us so much we'll probably end up bottom 4. Most likely. Most likely. All right. By the way, so I started playing this game last night, Clair Obscure Expedition 33, under the recommendation of no less than Denon Kemp. It was like, we were talking, one day he gave me a lift home, we were talking about games. He's a big gaming enthusiast, as am I. And he said, I need to play this game. And I'd never heard of it. I wasn't particularly interested by what it reportedly was about. But my God, I played it for the first time yesterday and I am absolutely hooked. So, that's just a little side thing. Never forget Lee had your pantless. Oh, my boy, he had everyone pantless. He had everybody pantless. Rooster Jogger, I know. I can't change it. I can't change it to Dylan Jogger, but that was my nickname in high school. Which made sense because no one else knew about the NRL. Oh, I'll turn the game volume up. God, it's still very quiet. I put the game volume up very high. And no, let's see if we can turn it up anymore. Oh yeah, there we go. That's right. That's probably good. Now, the way that I wanted to do this was to go and do like an instance of the NRL, but I can't seem to do that with custom teams, if I'm not mistaken. But as you guys know, I haven't actually played very much of Rugby League 26. So I think I just have to do it as a career mode. But I do have 2026 teams. Lendox says, I hate this game so much, it's unbearable. I locked in and grinded it for a month, then I gave up. Such a pointless game. That's actually exactly me. To a T. Oh, Galaxy Footy says, hold on, I can help you. Good. The boy has saved us. Thank you, Matt. I will hold on. I will hold on. Because the other thing was, if I did it as a career mode, I'd be worried that the team that I picked to do the career mode with would be, like, influenced somehow. Like last year we did it. Yes, I did set up a custom comp. I did, Matt. Yeah, last time we did it as the Tigers because I was like, that's a team that's not really going to impact anything. And then they made the top 8. But yeah, I made NRL 2026 with, these are all 2026 teams. I'm thinking when to do my actual intro. Can you not select that as the NRL comp? No. If I go into NRL, new competition, I either click full competition or players club. Full competition, I guess, would be what it is. And it just goes straight into this. Which I would definitely assume is not the custom comp that I made. Who is team 145? It's whatever one. It was to do with whoever made the rosters. They just called it team 145, but it is an actual NRL club. Yeah. Matt says, here is what you do. All right. In hindsight, maybe I should have spoken to Galaxy Footy beforehand. Before starting this. While he's doing that, I'm going to do my little intro. So, today we are going to simulate the 2026 season. Last year, we did this exact same video, and it was actually kind of scarily accurate. I rewatched it today. It predicted 7 out of the correct top 8 teams, right? The only one I didn't get was the Canberra Raiders, and no one got the Canberra Raiders. So that in itself was scarily accurate enough. But then it went on to predict 3 out of 4 of the preliminary finalists and correctly predicted a Storm versus Broncos grand final. So I'm just saying, for all of Big Ant Studios' faults, they kind of have a little bit of crystal ball about them. So, you know, I'd be taking this as pretty solid advice. Hi, YouTube. I never thought I'd be big enough to have people saying hi, YouTube in my chat. There we go. It might be a little difficult to do. I suspected it would be. I suspected it would be that I just have to do it as a career mode, because that's what it was in the old Rugby League lives. I'll see, though, which team was Team 145? Manly. Can I? Yeah, surely I can change that, actually. I don't think it will matter. Because they are called... Oh, I missed it. I think it's just like their shortened name. Yeah. Nickname. I cannot type. Eagles. Oh, why are their colors that? That is gross. There we go, much better. Seafader says, put the fries in the bag, bro. You want to get this started. Yeah, I don't think there's another way to do it. I can't see Macalexi saying anything else. So I'll get started with the career mode then, unless he says something different. I'm going to up the half length. What is the mod? It's not a mod. It's just downloading community teams. Yeah. I'll put the half length up very high, because last time we had low scores and people said it was because we had low half length. Although, for the grand final, that'll be long. Well, I'll change it before the grand final. Commentary pair auto become rep manager, no. Yep. That looks good to me. NRL 2026. Do not up the half length? Okay, I will not up the half length. What's wrong with upping the half length? I'll keep it at, what, 7 minutes? Is that okay? A year ago, it was because I didn't up the half length. Now I can't up the half length. Do you need me on a call to run you through things? I don't know. I feel quite confident in what I'm doing, but I didn't think there was a way to do exactly what I wanted to do. Tiger, 7 to 9 minutes. Okay, that's good. Tiger, I did think about doing that, but it puts you like out of sync with the NRL. It doesn't let you sim as easily. So, are we for real watching a full Rugby League 26 footy game? We are not. Well, we will in the grand final, but it won't be like 80 minutes. First name, John Smith. Yeah, solid. I like that. I like that. National Rugby League. Now, this time... Last time we went with the Tigers because they were the least offensive team. They were the team that I was quite confident we're going to finish right at the bottom of the ladder. And in that note, we're going Titans. Leaguie, do I need to search individually for them? Or can I get them all at once? I think individually. Everyone just wants me to be their team. Yeah, actually, this was something that I feel could actually impact things. I mean, I guess coaching is the important thing. Because recruitment doesn't matter, we won't do that. I should probably have some fitness. Oh, not recruitment. Whatever, that's fine. Fine, don't care. Alright, so, We're at the start of the season. Is there a calendar I can use? There is a calendar I can use. And is adjusting it. Well, I felt like I should, right? If I don't put anything into those things, then they're just going to be really bad, right? All right. We will sim right to just before the first game of the season. The way we're going to do it is we're going to check through at sort of intervals. So like a quarter of the way through the year, we'll review things. We'll go through the major events and go through like that. The big upsets, the big games. Okay, is there a way that I can look at like the round? Because that's how we did it last time. NRL. Ah, yes. Oh, we've already passed round 1. Was that was, oh, preseason. But I was very confused. So what, those are the teams that are going to Vegas. Sick. Manly and the Tigers. Great stuff. No, I do not want to exit crew mode. This is still preseason, so it doesn't matter. Cool. Oh, that was a lovely sound. Still preseason. Don't care. That's frankly devastating. That's the trials. Yep, no, I picked up on that. It's okay. All right. Start of the season, Titans versus Cowboys. Yeah, we'll do it like this. So I'll just have to... I can't sim a week, so I'll just have to sim the Titans' individual matches and then check the results. All right. But I don't care about the Titans, so I'm not really going to commentate on this. Fine. You know, I'm going to go to round 6 rather than doing it every week. Recruiting alert. Don't care. Goodbye, Tony Francis. That's fine. Sucked in, Tiger Walker. I see you. The Titans are actually like in every single game. Gordon Chan Kung Tong scored for Canterbury. Should I'm thinking, where do I put myself? Wait. On the screen. That's like an okay spot. Like I said, this is very much a behind the scenes video. Down there's like, that's where I had it last year. Nah. We'll keep it up there. All right. Right, so we've got past 3 rounds. I'm going to go to round 6. And then we'll review like every 6 rounds. Well, we're bad. No way we beat Melbourne. Not a chance. I know rugby league, that's all I can say. Why does it put the... I can't really point to this, but see how the tries are not in chronological order? That's weird. Wait, why is Tino kicking goals? What the hell? DeBotster, I will agree. The chat delay is very bad on YouTube, but it's set to the lowest it can possibly be set to on my account. All right, we'll get through round 6, and then see. No, not Oliver Pascoe. The Oliver Pascoe. This is, fun fact, the furthest I've ever gotten to a Rugby League 26 career mode. True story. Who was Paul Bryan? I won't put it down in the video just in case Paulie's watching. Alright. So. I'll start with... Yeah, I'll start with the ladder, actually. Why does the ladder look so much worse than it did in Rugby League Live 4? And 3, actually. It doesn't even have, like, the logos. Alright. So, 1/4 of the way into the season, and this is how the ladder looks. Certainly a few surprises in here. Not really including the Brisbane Broncos and the Melbourne Storm, the 2 grand finalists being number 1 and number 2. That, I think, is something that I could definitely see happening coming into next year. But the Cowboys in 3rd, a team that many people think is going to get the wooden spoon in 2026, That is a very, very lofty position to be in for them. 5 wins and only 1 loss. Still early days, but we'll see how they go the rest of the year. The Rabbitohs up in 5th. A lot of people do fancy them. If they can keep their injuries well in check, they should be up there. The minor premiers, Canberra. I have to do that line again. I'm going to be doing that a lot. The minor premiers, Canberra, down in 7th. But look, still, I think without Jamal Fogarty, that's probably a position that I think many Raiders fans would take coming into this season. But the Newcastle Knights, the Wooden Spooners, up in 8th. Justin Holbrook working his magic. And the West Tigers sitting in their lovely home spot of 9th position. NRL Head says, I like guys. Yeah, that's going on YouTube. Only other real surprises are Warriors and Bulldogs, so I'll talk about that. Bulldogs in 10th is a massive fall from where they were at this point last season. They'll be looking to get back up the ladder. And the New Zealand Warriors bringing up the rear... Wait, hang on. 16, where's 17? Oh my god, I forgot we have 17 teams of the competition. And the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks winless, taking up the rear in the... And the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks winless, taking up the rear down in 17th. That is devastating for them. They're a side that are going to be looking to win a premiership this season, so not the start that they wanted. Should I maybe have not said taking up the rear? Bringing up the rear makes more sense. 0 Twitch viewers, lol. I mean, it's an unlisted stream. It's not live on Twitch, so that's why. Maybe I should not have that there, actually. It does look pretty bad that I had no Twitch viewers. I'll hide that for the time being. That's better. Yeah, I won't say take it up the rear. And the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks bringing up the Sharks. I can't get out of my head taking up the rear. Oh, the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, brilliant. You have to understand. This is how I actually record my videos. I take like 2 or 3 times to get a take correct. Okay, focus. And the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks bringing up the rear in 17th position. A terrible spot for them. Winless so far this year. Given that they're going to be wanting to win a premiership in 2026, that is devastating for Cronulla fans. Okay. The chat is just going to be so out of context when this video actually gets edited. It's just... They're going to be like, why are they saying Cronulla Sutherland Sharks? What's the context of that? Okay, no, we're good. So we'll go to round 12, just before the origin period. They're still terrible. I've got to, I'm gonna fix the fact that Tino is kicking goals. That's just not acceptable. It's hilarious, but it's not acceptable. Damn, this kind of makes me want to do a Rugby League 26 career mode. And that is like... That's scary. Jalen de Groot, shout out, Netherlands International. Recruiting alert. Not Josh Patson, the Josh Patson. I don't know how we're going to survive without him. Whoa! Hey, they got revenge for Trainergate last year. It's not as bad now, still issues, but it's not that bad, says Matt. Should I call you Matt or should I call you Galaxy Footy? I should probably call you Galaxy Footy from a branding perspective. Says Galaxy Footy. I will say, I've been trying to log into this game recently, and I've got it and it's fine, but it doesn't tell me, an update is required. But people are talking about updates coming out. Damn, we can actually kick goals now that Tino's not playing as goal kicker. Matt's fine. Well, anyway, whatever works. 11. So, wait. Oh yeah. I thought, how on earth did I watch the grand final last year when I wasn't coaching one of the teams? I then went and did that as a kickoff match, which is fine. Yeah, simulate the match. no! You know what? That's ruined this entire video for me. All right, we'll get through to the end of round 12. Well, shout out Expat Ollie. Shout out my man. All right. Oh wait. I forgot to do something. I have to stitch this back in. I forgot to go through week by week results. That's why this seemed to be going quickly. So after we do the ladder bit, we'll go through and do the results like this. Keep that in, says Expat Ollie. And that's not staying in. The whole Titans part of it isn't staying in, unfortunately. Okay. Any big results here? Not really. No. Although that's kind of expected, to be honest. I'll just say in round 1 there weren't really many upsets. Round 1 was a pretty stock standard round. Not too many upsets. Dolphins getting the win over the Rabbitohs early on in the season. Good for them. And Canberra Raiders getting a good start to their season as well away against the Dragons. Oh. Round 2. Round 2, though, had a major upset in the Newcastle Knights getting up over the Dolphins, a team that many people think is destined for the top 8 this season. Let's maybe not talk about this game. Don't feel the need to mention it. I think that's probably not worth making the video. So we might just leave that there. Although, actually, if I call it a massive upset, then that's like bigging up the Roosters in a way and insulting the Raiders. So this is actually the biggest upset of the entire season. And what I would argue, another upset result in the Raiders getting a win over the Roosters. My team versus my adopted team. That might not make the final video. Probably won't. Panthers. Okay, that's a big game, so I'll talk about this. In round 3, the Penrith Panthers got a 10-point win over the Melbourne Storm in Melbourne. That'd be a very, very big match. Oh, the Tigers beating the Sharks as well. And the Tigers continuing a strong start to the season with a win over the Cronulla Sharks. You might get offensive in the comments. No, I'm a committed Rooster. See, you very much are like, you know, from the sense I get, it's half and half. I am 99% Roosters. 17-10 is a weird scoreline. Won't talk about South winning. That doesn't matter. Nothing really of interest there. Oh, okay. Wait, is there any more? Rabbitohs, Cowboys? Yeah, that's worth talking about. Okay. Round 4 had a couple of upsets in itself with... Oh, Cowboys. Round 4 had a couple of upsets in itself with the North Queensland Cowboys getting a big win over the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And I think Manly's the other one. And Manly beating the 2025 minor premiers in the Canberra Raiders. Tight game. Round 5. We're gonna be doing this for a little while because I forgot to do it at the start. Manly beating the Dogs. Oh, Cowboys beating Panthers, definitely. I'd argue that's an upset. I'd argue that's an upset. I'd argue that's an upset. That's not an upset. That's not an upset. That is an upset. But I think round 5, we've got the most upsets so far. Rabbitohs beating Cronulla very comprehensively there. Dragons getting a narrow win over Parramatta. Dolphins getting a win over the Roosters, so they're bouncing back just a little bit. And the Knights securing a win over the Canberra Raiders. I can hear the Ricky Stewart press conference already. How, says Lane Dog. How? How could this be? Anzac Day. Easy Roosters win. Easy. Never in doubt. Probably Titans winning there. Cowboys winning there. And Knights. Okay. And finally, bringing us up to round 6, we had the Titans with a narrow win over the Manly Sea Eagles. Good to see them getting some wins to start the season. The Cowboys with a 7-point victory over South Sydney in Sydney to continue a very, very strong start to the year. And the Newcastle Knights, the side who won the wooden spoon last year, they are racking up the wins, getting a win over the Wars by 8 points. So let's see how the ladder looks after 6 rounds. All right, and then I'll stitch in what we had before. We didn't lose by 60 against the Storm. Let's go, says Tiger Walker. That's great work. I should be reading out comments more. I'll start reading out comments more. Didn't know that Penrith updated their logo. It might have been that the person... Oh, yeah, Penrith updated their logo. Yeah. But I think the person that made the squad also put it in the game. I don't know if it was necessarily in the game before. Rabbitohs randomly winning 37. That's weird. Okay, so that I'll talk about. Tigers, I'll talk about. Roosters, I'll talk about. And Knights again. Okay. Moving on to round 7, and we had some unusual scorelines for sure. South Sydney winning in Canberra, scoring 37 points. Definitely wasn't on my bingo card for this year. Neither was the West Tigers getting a win against the 2025 Premiers. Or the Roosters beating the Bulldogs by a whopping 26 points. Doggies fans not having a blessed start to 2026. I'll have to it's good that the chat is covering up the ladder, but it is a bit of a giveaway. And I'm also covering up the ladder, so that's good. Anything else here? I mean, Knights have been... We knew that they were in 8, so that's fine. I keep pressing the wrong button. Okay. Raiders win. I'll talk about... Knights again. Damn. Match drawn. Okay, I'll talk about that. Titans being Panthers for sure. That I'll talk about. Okay. In round 8, the Canberra Raiders got a win over the faltering 2025 Premiers in the Broncos. They're starting to rack up a few consecutive losses. And we've had our first draw of the season between the Sydney Roosters and the North Queensland Cowboys. You never really used to see draws in the NRL, but they have started to sneak in just 1 or 2 times a year nowadays. So that is not completely unrealistic. Rugby League coaching career, who do you go for? Apologies if I know who you are, but I don't know you by that username. I think the notable match in this round, though, is the Gold Coast Titans winning by 2 points in Penrith. They got their revenge for Trainergate. I absolutely love that for them. Yeah. And the Dolphins getting a whopping 30-point victory over the Bulldogs. I'll tell you what, I'm not saying it's Lachlan Galvin's fault, but I'm also not saying it's not Lachlan Galvin's fault. Dolphins third is realistic. I think Dolphins third is realistic. Hang on, I have to do a recording of my face cam separately. I'm just going to do that line about Galvin one more time. I'm not saying it is Lachlan Galvin's fault, but I'm also not saying that it's not Lachlan Galvin's fault. All right, round 9. Damn, Manly are trash. I mean, I'm not sad about that. But damn. We need more Galvin slander. It's just a little smidgen here and there. Just a little bit. Another draw. So, wait, is that back-to-back 30 all draws for the Cowboys? It is. That's amazing. What happened to reading chat? I have been reading chat a little bit. Ah, it's dollar coin. Got it. Okay. Tiger Walker says, as a pro-Manly hater, this is fun to watch. Well, yeah, I mean, Parramatta have literally just beat them by 32 points. They are faltering. Maybe Daly Cherry Evans was the key after all. But what catches my eye here is back-to-back 30-point all draws for the North Queensland Cowboys. I'm going to make a joke about Todd Payton here. It's like the board have said, Todd Payton, the next game you lose, you're getting sacked. And he's just done everything he possibly can to avoid that happening. It really is, Xander. 2 draws in a row with the same score. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Boo says, my favorite part of your last video was when Leaguie shut up mid-video and said, it's Leaguing time, and then spontaneously combusted, never to be seen again. I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it. We had, a very depressing funeral, but yeah. Fine, if you got some enjoyment out of that, I suppose. Oh, yes. Have that, Landog. Have that. Okay. And in the rematch of last year's preliminary final, it is the Panthers who get just a little bit of revenge over the Brisbane Broncos, winning by 10 points. Okay, nearly up to more simming now. Rooster's cooking. Rooster's actually really cooking. Wait, let me know in chat who you actually think will, win the premiership. I'm curious. In this. Dogs finally get a win. Cowboys over Panthers. Okay, I'll mention that. And Titans by 1 point. Cool. The Dolphins continued their very strong first half of the season with a 20... The Dolphins continued their very strong start to the 2026 season with a 26-point victory over Parramatta in Sydney. While the Bulldogs finally got a bit back on track, beating the Canberra Raiders by 16. No more draws for North Queensland, but they're instead beating the old 4-time premiers, the Panthers, by 10 points. But I think the game of the round has to go to Titans versus Manly, a 31 points to 30 win. Can you imagine if that field goal hadn't been kicked and we'd have had back-to-back-to-back weeks of 30 all draws? That's correct, right? Yeah, it is correct. Okay. Toby says... Wait, I go to Cowboys before reading that. Toby says, how are the Cowboys so good? I don't know. I mean, power of Tom Dearden, I guess. Todd Payton might actually be the greatest coach to ever grace this earth. Oh, hang on. Okay. I'm trying to make it so that I can read chat a bit better. Okay, there we go. There we go. That's big enough. Right. I'm going to do that Payton line one more time. Todd Payton might actually be the greatest coach to ever grace this earth. Right. 11. Decent win by Para. Probably not quite enough. Cronulla's still way down in 16th, but we will talk about that. Big win from the Finns. Cowboys again. Alright, cool. Round 11 brought us yet another loss for the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. They are having an absolutely awful time of it. While their aquatic accomplices, the Dolphins, on the other hand, are killing things with a 30-point victory over the Tigers. Aquatic accomplices, you like that? You like that, guys? I'll put this back in the Payton beat. Xander says Payton is still the most alpha male looking coach. Who's like a really non-alpha male looking coach? They're all kind of pretty masculine. Yeah, I was going to say, like, no, it's this guy, like this objectively effeminate guy, but there's no one that's really like that. Wayne Bennett, I feel like he's got enough Clint Eastwood about him to be masculine. Great comment from $1 coin there. Great comment. What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, nothing really more. Okay. Cool. This is the last round of results. Jeez, this felt like it took a while. Dolphins again. Crazy work. Okay. I'll mention Knights. I'll mention Sharks. Sharks. The Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Oh, this is a buy round. Okay. And finally, in round 12, we had, I think, the biggest upset maybe that we've seen yet in this video with Newcastle. Wait, did Newcastle beat Penrith earlier? Okay, I won't call it the biggest upset then. And finally, in round 12, we've got, I think, one of the bigger upsets that we have seen in this video so far, with the Newcastle Knights getting a pretty dominant victory over the Panthers. They won in 97, right? 1997 NRL Grand Final. Yeah. It's 1997 all... Yeah. It's 1997 all over again. And Cronulla finally get one back on the board, keeping Manly to 0. That is a desperately needed win, only their second of the season so far. Woo God says, obviously Craig Fitzgibbon doesn't fit his role at the Sharks anymore. See, I can only make content that is so funny because of the incredible witty input from my audience. It's not me, it's them. Tiger says you need a video game to give you happiness. Well, this video game's not giving you happiness, bro. Not at the moment. And the Dogs, who are currently sitting in the bottom 4, get one. And the Dogs, who are currently sitting right near the bottom of the ladder, get a very dominant win against the Tigers. Maybe that'll be the one to set their season back on track. All right. Ladder. It's not really halfway through the season, is it? Some teams have only played 10 games. Okay, I'm going to go another round. Sick. Yeah, that's better. That's more halfway through the season. Okay. So I'll read out these results and then we'll do the ladder. Dragons win. Storm win. Yeah, I mean, I'll mention that because it's a big game. Mention Cowboys. Oh, some of the results haven't happened yet. On Sharks. Okay, cool. And to mark the halfway point of the season, a big game, Roosters losing to the Melbourne Storm by 12 points as well. Their record against the top teams continues to struggle. But the Cowboys keep on keeping on with a win over the Warriors. And it is Cronulla with back-to-back wins. These two teams are right near the bottom of the ladder. Both of them should be much, much higher, but it was the Sharks that got it done in this one. Is the resurgence on? All right, cool. So, at the halfway point in the season, the ladder looks like this. Melbourne currently sitting up in first. Only one loss to their name. That is very impressive, but again, I don't think that's entirely unexpected. On the other hand, North Queensland have just gone from strength to strength. They're sitting up in second. I don't know where the hell they have come from, but they are absolutely killing it this year. Broncos also top 4, and it is my Sydney Roosters sitting in 4th. I would take that at this point in the season. The Dolphins continue to exceed expectations, I think, although a lot of people do think they'll be very good this season, sitting up in 5th. Canberra slot just into the 8 with Newcastle sitting just outside at level on points. And moving down to the bottom end of the ladder, Canterbury down in 13th. That is still below where they should be, but they are starting to claw back some results. And the same can be said for Cronulla, only 3 wins out of 12. That is very, very concerning areas for them. But look, they're still only 6 points out of the 8. Long way to go yet. I'll go back to that letter. Hang on. C Phantom says, I've seen enough. Build a solid gold statue of Tom Dearden in central Townsville. Or Townsville, actually. And I'll go to Canterbury. Woo God says, Cameron Serrano needs to get his glamorous asshole out of this club before we get the spoon. Glamorous asshole. Where the hell does that come from? That's come from Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. That's where it's come from. All right. We'll go to round 20. Auto-generate. See, you know the real reason I picked the Titans? I'm only just realizing this, but I'm going to like retcon it as to being my thinking. Galaxy Footy's currently doing a Rugby League 26 career mode with the Titans. And I'm just trying to get through my own one quicker than he goes through his. That's the only reason. Why is Junior Tupou kicking goals for the Roosters? That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense at all. What an absolutely god-awful team we just lost to. No, anyone. Oh, it's Origin period, that's why. Could you guys hear that? Something in my house has fallen. Yes. Oh, that hasn't happened yet. I'm curious though, the match report. So, Jerry Evans back in Origin. This isn't going to be in the video. This is just for my own curiosity. Don't think that's likely to happen, but anyway. Terrell May finally picked. Let's go. Tedesco back, but only 17 minutes. Okay. Jadokar. No Moses. Interesting. NRL leads. I mean, Junior Tupou does play for the Roosters. He's not a starting player. That's what you mean. Ooh, up there freaking was, bruh. Fan satisfaction for me is 39. That's a little bit crazy. Go on, just gotta beat Souths. Not happy. And we'll get to the end of round 20. God damn. We trash, bro. We so trash. It wasn't round 12. It was round 13. So we'll pick up results here. Right. Let's look at Origin again. Yes! Let's go! Woo! Have that, Queenslanders. Queensland, more like losers land. Am I right? I mean, I am right. We know this. We know this to be true. Oh, let's get it. That's the good stuff. More like, don't get Origin land, so to speak. Hey, I should have music. I'm gonna exit career mode actually and turn on music for you guys. Because I set it up specifically so that the recording I did, and this is genius, right? The live stream will have music, but the recording will not have music. Okay, that's good. Maybe a little loud, actually. This is so not the music that I tend to listen to. Leaguie, we need Oasis. I would get nuked into oblivion if I played Oasis. I actually want me to just sing it.
I don't know what it did that made me feel alive.
Okay. Storm beating Cowboys is honestly worth talking about at this point. Broncos beating Roosters. Tigers getting one over Manly. Okay. Round 14, round about what you would expect, although the Newcastle Knights picking up another very valuable 2 points in their race to the finals is good for them. First played second with the Storm taking on the Cowboys, but it was the Storm who kept their Queensland opposition 2-0. The Tigers got a 1 point victory over Manly as Manly's horror season goes from worse to worse. And the Brisbane Broncos get a 13 point victory over the Sydney Roosters in another top 4 clash. Canterbury do get another win to add to their tally. Their push for the finals, though still unlikely, is very much on. Alright, round 50. Yeah, this makes the stream actually so much better. Galaxy Footy says, let's go. Were you here for... I just mentioned your Titans crew, man. Just gave you a little bit of promotion. Roosters, yeah, no... Knights I'll talk about. Souths I'll talk about. Okay. And in an Origin impacted round 50, the Newcastle Knights get a... Damn it. And in an Origin affected round 15, the Newcastle Knights get another valuable victory over the Cronulla Sharks. I think that finals might be a bit out of their reach now. Could still happen, but pretty unrealistic. North Queensland pick up another valuable win against high-quality opposition. And South Sydney get a dominant win over the Canberra Raiders. The fall from grace from minor premiers is very, very much real. We've says, holy crap Raiders, and I couldn't put it any better myself. Galaxy Footy, you don't do yourself enough credit, bro. Come on. Big win for the Wires. God damn.
God damn.
South, so talk about Warriors, talk about Souths. Yeah, that's probably about it. Round 16, again, sort of more of what you would expect. I think the Warriors getting a big win against Canterbury, though, is very important for them. Canterbury aside in a good little patch of form. Dolphins pick up another valuable 2 points against a tricky Knights side, but the Rabbitohs getting a 1 point victory over the Melbourne Storm could be absolutely vital in their race for finals. That I'll talk about. Probably that I'll talk about. And that. Okay. In round 17, the miracle of Mudgee very much flipped the other way. It was a dominant Panthers victory by 30 points. Newcastle get a valuable win against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. They're just getting little results, narrow margins here and there. Very much not a Justin Holbrook style, but they are scoring points, so that does kind of make a bit of sense. Parramatta putting 40 on the Dragons gives their fans even... Parramatta putting 40 on St. George Illawarra gives Dragons fans even less of a reason to live. That's definitely making the video, by the way. And North Queensland keep on keeping on with a 37 points to 24 victory over my Sydney Roosters. I'm not crying, you're crying. Right, Billy Kochikaru says, what are your thoughts of the fully hectic NRL coaching career? I really don't know much about it, to be honest. Anyway. Who needs Reece Robson? Yeah, the Reece Robson Bowl. I'm going to re-record that, but then call it the Reece Robson Bowl. Which round were we at? This one. And North Queensland keep on keeping on, getting a 37 point to 24 win over the Roosters in the Reece Robson Bowl. 18. Canberra getting a win. Okay, we'll do that one. I'll give you guys a little insight here. Melbourne and Brisbane are still on top. That's what it was the first quarter of the season. The 2 grand finalists. That sucks. Okay, I'll mention that. I'll definitely mention that. Yeah. In an Origin impacted round 18, the Raiders got a win over the top 4 Brisbane Broncos. That's a very, very good win for them. Oh. And Canterbury putting 40 on their traditional rivals, the Dragons. That could be enough to really get them in touch with the finals. In a top 2 clash, North Queensland absolutely decimated the Melbourne Storm. Again, this one is Origin impacted, but there are Origin players on both sides, so very, very good win for the Cowboys. And they backed it up the week later against the Raiders. I think, though, a bigger result there, Newcastle beating the Melbourne Storm. That's back-to-back losses for the side who were sitting in first. I gotta say, I love this for Newcastle and their fans. I love what they've been able to do in this little simulation. Justin Holbrook might actually be a master coach. Todd Payton very clearly has a plan. It just needs a little more goddamn faith. We're going to Australia. Getting some mangoes. Maybe not talk about that one. Damn, that's devastating. And to end the round, by God, 26 points to 0. Broncos absolutely smashed my Roosters. We were sitting top 4, but I don't think our credentials are looking that good anymore. Okay, round 20. I'm going to go to round 21, actually. I'm going to simulate one more. Destroyed. Okay. So we'll go to round 20. Toby says Cowboys are basically doing what Canberra did in 2025, but in 2026. It looks like it. Oh, wait, I can't say that while that's on the screen. I have to go back. Cowboys are basically doing what Canberra did in 2025, but in 2026. It really does look like it. Although, clearly, I spoke a bit too soon as the Dolphins get an 18-point victory over them. So, though, every team has their blips. I think I'm on the Cowboys bandwagon, honestly, for the rest of this simulation. Cronulla pick up another win, although it is against Manly, who were sitting right at... Cronulla do pick up another win, but it was against Manly, who were sitting right near the bottom of the ladder. Rabbitohs win, Bulldogs win. Actually, quite a few upsets here. And a string of 3 consecutive upsets with the Rabbitohs beating the Panthers, Canterbury getting a pretty decent win over Parramatta, and the Dragons comfortably beating the Raiders in Canberra. I haven't looked at the ladder yet, but I do get the sense that the battle for the finals is going to be very, very tight. Everyone's kind of beating everyone. Woobergod says, surely you get on the Bulldogs bandwagon, Leaguie. I would rather be caught dead than unironically support the Bulldogs. That's a lie. I don't even really mind the Bulldogs. Raiders second year syndrome is real. It is. It feels like it. That's for sure. Well, looking at the ladder, they are in 9th. But we'll talk about that in a second. Storm winning, yeah. Cowboys winning, yeah. Broncos winning, yeah. Draw. Tiger Walker, shout out. Okay, that I'll definitely mention. Okay. And to end the third quarter of the season, we've got another draw that the Roosters are involved in. They draw 14-all. Wait, the Tigers was the other team that drew with the Cowboys. And to mark 3/4 of the way into the season, two sides have already drawn once this season, draw against each other. 14 points all, Roosters versus Tigers. And worth mentioning as well, Newcastle getting a dominant 26-point victory over the Bulldogs. They are just not consistent enough to really push for the top 8, Canterbury. And Canberra, voice crack. And Canberra getting a very, very big win over Gold Coast to make up for their loss at home the week before. Xander says, Cowboys looking like their 2015 self. Is this their year? I have doubts in real life, but this is certainly looking like it could be. All right. Ladder. Alright, we're down in 7th. That's crazy work. Dolphins top 4. Okay. Cool. It just doesn't show the past 5 results. There's a column for it and it just doesn't show it. Anyway. So, 3/4 of the way into the season, it is still Melbourne sitting in first. It looks like they could lead from start to finish. Brisbane, again, in second. Those two teams look like they've sort of been the runaways. They've been right up the top all year. But North Queens... Wait, hang on. I didn't see the points tallies, actually. I'll mention the points tallies. You can't see them. But it's 34, 34, 34, and then 32. All right. So 3/4 of the way into the season, and although it does look like much of the same, the battle for the top of the ladder is very much on. You can't see it because I'm blocking the screen, but Melbourne sit on 34 points. Brisbane sit on 34 points, and the Cowboys sit on 34 points. Not to mention, Dolphins sitting on 32, so they are right in that as well. Queensland teams are going absolutely crazy. Well, most of the Queensland teams anyway. So this is 3/4 into the season. Penrith still sit very much in the race for the top 4 on 30 points, with South and the Roosters tied on 28. I was going to say in 6th and 7th, but that's going to send everyone crazy, isn't it? While the Rabbitohs and the Roosters are tied on 28 points. So is Newcastle, actually. While the Rabbitohs, Roosters, and Knights are all tied on 28 points. There's then a fair bit of a gap between 8th to 9th. 6 points separate the Knights and the Raiders, so we could already have our top 8 settled with only the order still to switch around. The Bulldogs, although they were able to string some wins together, do sit 8 points away from that 8th position, so I think it could be too little too late for them. Upper the Sunshine State, Queenslander. Just want to draw attention to this, if that's all right. I'll mention the bottom of the ladder, and then we will keep simming. And looking towards the bottom of the ladder, Cronulla still sitting in the bottom 4. Awful season for them, but I think the attention does have to be on Manly. What an awful, awful year on the Northern Beaches. You know what's really funny? This is actually really funny. The video last year, I don't think I could incorporate this because no one would remember the joke, but there was a running joke in the video where I kept saying, I told you guys, Anthony Seibold is a fraud. It's literally, like, it's proven by this, right? But I can't say that because no one's going to remember the callback from 1 year ago. So, we'll probably just leave it at that. Sea Phantom says Manly Wooden Spoon would feed generations. Well, they're the only team... no, they're not the only team that haven't won a spoon, because Dolphins. Sea Phantom says Manly Wooden Spoon would feed generations. Well, they haven't won a wooden spoon in their history, but they are 2 points adrift from 16th. It could well be the year that the unthinkable does happen. Rex says, I remember. Tiger says, I remember. Yeah, but you guys are, you know, rusted on. How have the Titans players grown? They haven't, basically, is the answer to that. Michael Molo's at Gold Coast. Oh, Brian Kelly. Okay, so it's not completely up to date, actually. So, it's pretty much up to date. Max Bradbury, I thought he was at Cronulla. Ah. Damn, son. That's straight up cray-cray. Well, we'll look through top try scorers as well at the end. Marcelo Montoya hat-trick. Crazy work. That brother hasn't scored a hat-trick since 2017. Na. Titans are so shit. Titans are so shit. I can say that because this isn't making the video. That's just special for you guys. The bot stat, yeah, I accidentally pressed the button to turn on the Twitch stream when this is a YouTube exclusive stream. Damn, that's actually a crazy win. Right, round 26. Couple of wins late in the year. Okay. And the final round. Hey. Jesus. Roosters only just made the 8 by 2 points. Awful season. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. Cronulla didn't win the spoon. Manly didn't win the spoon, actually. That's what I meant to say. Damn, Dragon Spoonsers. That's crazy work. Okay. Where did we leave it? Round 21, I think. Yeah, we didn't talk about these games. Okay. Into the final quarter of the season now. I think a very big result there is the Rabbitohs beating the Brisbane Broncos 20 points to 4. They are a side who were joint first at this point, so that's a very good win for them. Panthers getting a win over the Roosters. Again, we literally cannot beat the very, very top teams. And the Titans absolutely putting the boot into the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks with a 26-0 win. I was just going to make a joke about the Cronulla riots, but I probably shouldn't. I was going to say they're going to be rioting in the Shire, but that's probably a bit on the nose. You guys are giving away that Canterbury didn't make the finals. And in the same matchup as last year's grand final, Brisbane getting a 34 points to 26 win over the Melbourne Storm. Could well be the grand final again in this save. We will see. Panthers get a 28-0 win over the Knights as a team who are battling hard for the 8. That's a very, very big loss for Newcastle. Well, Canterbury keep their dream alive with a 22 points win over the Titans. No! My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined. And in a big hit as well for the North Queensland Cowboys minor premiership aspirations, a 2-point loss to the Parramatta Eels. That is going to sting. Alright. Mention that. Definitely mention that. Mention that. I mentioned that. Wow. North Queensland kind of faltered. Round 24 had some crazy, crazy games in it. Penrith getting a dominant win over the Melbourne Storm, putting 38 points on them. Manly, who are sitting right at the bottom of the ladder, getting a 4-point victory over the Roosters, who are still in the hunt for the top 4. A very, very big loss for my Bondi boys. And the Dolphins getting a win over Brisbane. So Brisbane's sort of struggling a bit coming into the back end of the season. Very much the opposite of the way it went for them in 2025. And to finish out the round, Newcastle Knights getting a win over the Cowboys. Again, just like Brisbane, they are faltering a bit. Very, very tough for their minor premiership hopes. Just gave away. Roosters suck like man, accept it. I mean, how about you make the finals and then you can talk, Tiger? Will mention. Ha! Have that, Mr. Walker. And we'll mention. Okay. Round 25, we're very much getting to the pointy end now. The Bulldogs getting a win over Penrith. That's going to hurt the Panthers' chances of top 4, but it does just about keep the Dogs in the hunt. The Titans getting a 2-point win over the Dolphins as well will hurt their top 4 aspirations, but they have picked up probably enough wins elsewhere to still make it. Brisbane get these back on track with their absolutely dominant 30-point victory over the Newcastle Knights in Newcastle, but the same cannot be said for their Queensland counterparts, the Cowboys, who lose by 1 point in New Zealand. All right. Tiger says I couldn't have timed that worse. That's actually very true. Very true. Sucked in, Mr. Tiger Man. Oh. Another miracle at Mudgee? I mean, I mentioned the miracle at Mudgee earlier. I'll mention it again. Mention that. Mention that. Mention that. 2 rounds to go now, round 26, and there were some results that definitely shaped how the 8 turned out. Canberra getting a 40-14 victory over Penrith. That in itself, I think, is a bit of a miracle. Don't know if that game was at Mudgee, but if it was... Wait, it probably was, actually. Can I see the match report? Oh. Well, I know for a fact that it was, because this is the 2025 draw. But whatever. I'll record that bit again. Two rounds to go in this season, and there were definitely some games in this one that shaped out how the 8 ended up. 2 rounds left to go in this season, and there were some matches in round 26 that definitely had an impact on how the 8 shaped up at the back end of the year. Canberra getting a 40-14 victory over Penrith. That is huge for them. Another miracle at Mudgee? Maybe. In a top 4 clash, the Cowboys got a 1-point victory over Brisbane. I'll tell you what, this game absolutely loves teams scoring 30 points and still somehow losing. And in another top 8 clash, the Dolphins got a 1-point victory over my Sydney Roosters, whose top 8 chances may well be in peril after a number of losses in this little period. Okay. And for the final... Oh, wait. I'm not actually through the whole final round. Okay. Oh. Okay. And for the final round of the season, Melbourne getting a win over Brisbane. That probably would secure the minor premiership for them, I would think. I'm looking at... Sorry, I was distracted by how the ladder is looking. It's actually kind of crazy how it all turned out. Anyway, we'll get into that. Okay. Roosters got a win by 8 points. Roosters beat the New Zealand Warriors by 8 points. That, I think, will just be enough to let them sneak in. And Manly get a win in Canberra, which may well see them avoid the wooden spoon if they haven't already. Good end of the season for the Seagulls. Just enough maybe to save a bit of confidence heading into next year. The Dolphins get a win against the Bulldogs that would end their top 8. The Dolphins get a 2-point win against Canterbury that would end the Bulldogs' top 8 aspirations, I would think. I'm very interested to see how high the Dolphins have finished because they've had a very good year. And Newcastle cement a very, very solid season with an 8-point victory over Parramatta. Now it's time to see how the 2026 ladder finally shapes up. And this is how we have it. So Melbourne led pretty much from start to finish. They will secure their next minor premiership in 2026. Only tied, though, on points with the Dolphins, who sit in second. They did not have a brilliant start to the season, but my God, they must have hit a great patch of form. 18 wins and only 6 losses. That's huge for them. South Sydney sneak out of absolutely nowhere into the top 4 to finish in third. Only 2 points off the minor premiership. And it is those North Queensland Cowboys with their 2 draws who round up the top 4. The other teams that made the finals, we got Penrith in 5th, Broncos in 6th, Newcastle Knights out of nowhere in 7th, and my Sydney Roosters in 8th. I've got to say, that's a disappointing season from a Roosters perspective, but finals still to come. There's then a 4-point gap to the rest of the competition. Canberra sitting in 9th. To be honest, I could see that happening. I haven't done my ladder predictions, but I do think that that could be roundabout where they finish. The Bulldogs sitting in 11th would be well below their expectations. I feel like I've said that a few times already, but still, there were points where they thought that they could be able to just get back into the finals there. We're stringing some wins together, but still, I'm going to do that bit again. The Bulldogs, again, at the end of the day, that is still below expectations for them. I know that they've had a couple of players go, but signing Leo Thompson coming into this season, they'll definitely at least be hoping to make the finals. And there are a few points in the season where it looked like they could string some wins together and get back up into that race for the 8, but couldn't do it in the end. Sanders says, I'm telling you, Raiders 1 season wonder. It could be. Looking towards the bottom of the ladder, Manly Warringah Sea Eagles somehow escaped being absolutely rusted onto that 17th spot. And it will be the St. George Illawarra Dragons who pick it up. So it's the local rivals Cronulla and the Dragons, 16th and 17th for 2026. The Dragons always seem to overachieve, but they do probably have one of the weakest squads on paper this season. I could see this one coming true, but Cronulla finishing in 16th, that is very much worst case scenario for them. Craig Fitzgibbon might be a bold fraud. Alright. Yeah, let's check the statistics. Hang on. Oh, filter. Okay, so these are the top try scorers. And probably worth mentioning, I think. For the top try scorers of the season, Gema Shibasaki is the man who actually won this award. 27 tries to his name. I'm covering up the stats. Oh, well, I'll just read them out. Ed Corsi of the South Sydney Rabbitohs finishes second with a whopping 24. Adokar, Bostock, and Marju rounding up the rest of the top 5. Anyone really particularly interesting? Nah. Okay. And now it's time for the final series. Will it just... Oh, yeah, I remember how I did this last year. Okay. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna cover chat. Okay. Okay, chat's back. What I had to do last year, this is actually a bit of insight. I had to Because it wouldn't let me sim like week by week. Oh, no, I can sim week by week. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I can sim week by week. I forgot about this, actually. So what? I'll read out the finals fixtures first. So our finals fixtures are Storm versus Cowboys to go straight to the prelim, Panthers versus Roosters in the elimination final, Broncos Knights in the other elimination final, and the Dolphins and Rabbitohs vying for that other spot in the prelims. Let's see how we go. Greg Marshall couldn't catch a bloody tennis ball in real life. Tennis balls are hard to catch, okay? And that's, yeah, a bit of Greg Marshall sympathy here. All right. Let's go. Yes. Get in. And Rabbitohs lost. Week 1 of the finals ends like this. Storm with a pretty dominant victory over the North Queensland Cowboys. Panthers go out first time of asking at the hands of the mighty Sydney Roosters, who advanced to play North Queensland in week 2 of the finals. At the other end of the bracket, Newcastle barely put up a fight against the 2025 premiers, the Broncos. Didn't get a try on the board, so Brisbane advance. And what looks like a very solid game between the Dolphins and the Rabbitohs, 32 points to 22. Dolphins advance straight to the prelim. All right. All we need to do is beat the Cowboys. I believe. Ooh. Yes! I believe. You know what's going to happen if the Roosters win this, right? You know what everyone's going to say? Week 2 of the finals is done, and let me tell you, I am a very happy boy. After the brilliant season that the Cowboys had, back-to-back losses, 38 points to 20 losses as well, the Roosters knocked them out, advancing to the prelim. Look at the chat. Look at the chat. They don't believe it. They do not believe it. I don't believe it myself. It might be rigged. I can't say it's not rigged. It might be rigged. And on the other end of the bracket, as if it couldn't get any better for me, the Rabbitohs do get knocked out. 34 points to 24. Broncos advance to the prelim. That means our preliminary finals are Storm Broncos, the matchup that we had in the grand final last year, and Dolphins versus Roosters. The Dolphins' first ever match they played in the NRL was against the Roosters. Let's see how they go in this one. I hope they lose it. I'm so nervous. Why am I nervous? It's a game. Oh! That's a good grand final, though. I have to cover the chat, though, otherwise you can't see it. I'll cover up the chat in a second. And it devastates me, but we do have a really good grand final matchup. Anyway, Broncos get a win over the Melbourne Storm to get to yet another grand final. That would be their third in 4 seasons. Storm fall short yet again. And on the other side, the Dolphins with a 14 points to 6 win over the Sydney Roosters to set up an all Brisbane grand final. I mean, the scenes would be absolutely incredible. And now we're going to get to watch this matchup together to see who Rugby League 26 thinks will take out the 2026 NRL Premiership. Let's get into it. Where Matt Galaxy at? I don't know if he's here. Is he here? I'm going to message him to get back on the stream. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for him. This devastates me. This is the bit that shows that the game's unrealistic. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Roosters would actually make the grand final in real life. I'll give Matt a couple minutes, because it would be really funny if he was part of the reaction to this video. It does say he's active on Discord. Mac Alexi says, yo, you kidding? He can't believe it. This is a dude who supports both teams. Yes, let's go. Alright. We're going to watch the game now. We're going to watch the game. Actually, wait, no. Finals, technically. Alright. I am blind. Legend. 9-minute halves. I want to actually see some points, so we'll do 9-minute halves. Trophy type NRL, Knight, Voss, Smith. Actually, I'm gonna not have commentary. Oh, I can't not have commentary. Use our sliders. Oh, extra time. That's a good point. What do you mean wrong teams? What are you talking about? Oh, 2025. Good point. Good point. Yeah, okay, I'll change it. Damn, all of you picked up on that. And I just went way over my head. I was like... Because the first person I saw say it was Expat Ollie, and I was like, well, did he want me to put Para in? Am I blind? Ah, there we go. Where's Vince? There's Vince. I'll change the kits, actually. Well... Does that work? That's a nice jersey. I think that's probably the best way of doing it. I'm not playing. Oh yeah, I'm not playing. As you can see, I'm truly bamboozled. Okay. What's the rule for a grand final? No, it's golden point. It's golden point. Unlimited time. Yeah. We'll manage the lineups actually for both teams, just to make sure nothing egregious happens. Let's set Carapani on that wing over Grant Anderson. That's the way it would be. IRL. Damn. They had two outside backs on the bench. Why is Tolty that low? Sucks. Jet Bryce, shout out. Big fan of the Leaguie. And I guess Gajewski? Over Grant Anderson? Damn, Lamolo definitely going to be playing there. Alright. Stadium is Allianz? Why would it be Allianz? Oh my god. Oh, I'm actually a baboon. I didn't set it to be a grand final. I have to do that all again. No. Okay. I'm getting it right this time. I promise. I swear down. If it's the last thing I do. NRL legend managed lineup. Oh. Ain't remembered? That's weird. But good. Okay. Am I doing anything else wrong? Teamless save now. That's sick. Has grand final happened? No, this is the grand final. Okay. I'm going to turn off commentary and then commentate myself, which I've got to say, last year's video, I thought, yeah, I commentated very well. I then rewatched it this season and it was awful. So we'll see how I go. I've now had an extra year's worth of practice with streaming. So, okay. Couple of things. End balance, no. Broadcasts far, and we'll do broadcast balance actually. Commentary down. Money God says, let me commentate. I don't think I will. All right, here we are, an all Brisbane grand final. The Dolphins taking on the Broncos. We did say at various points of the season it feels a bit like 2015, again, when we had the all Queensland grand final between the Cowboys and the Broncos, but we've gone a step further here. The Dolphins still very much a new team coming into this competition. For some reason, their fans wearing pink beanies. But a lot of people do think they'll do very well this year. A grand final would be well above expectation, but we'll see how they go as they run out onto the field past the Premiership Trophy to take on the reigning premiers, their arch rivals, the Brisbane Broncos. I mean, I'm a New South Welshman, I'm a Roosters fan, but even I would absolutely love to see this grand final happen. In what might be the last game of his career, Adam Reynolds trying to become a back-to-back Premiership winner with Leaguie Green in the background. Who could want anything better as he leads out his mighty Brisbane Broncos? Walsh, Karapani, the lot of them running out there, Mam as well. I'm getting excited about this. It's been that long since we've had actual footy that this is genuinely very exciting to me. Right, I'm going to do a poll. Just before we continue. It's been so long since I typed this into a chat. Oh my god. Who wins this one? Question mark. That's so exciting. I'm so glad I got to type that in. I'm going to give you guys like a minute to vote for who wins this one. Damn. 10 votes. 9 out of 10 people said Dolphins. I feel like that's surely got to be a heart overhead. Okay. I've just polled my audience who are watching this, and they have said... I've just polled my chat who are watching this, and they've said 82% think the Dolphins will win. I've got to go Broncos. I think I'll be tipping Broncos in this game. But we'll see how we go. Yes, Money God, I know I didn't spell it right. I put Broncos and Dolphins. My favorite national anthem that didn't actually play. You did Galaxy Footy, I know. Screen glitched, is it? Play Barbie Girl again. How do you remember that I played Barbie Girl at that bit? I forgot that I played Barbie Girl at that bit. Adam Reynolds will be the man to kick us off, and a 2026 grand final is underway. Cody Nikorima with first possession of the ball. Saifiti decides to take a little step just to compose himself, calm himself down before having the first run of the grand final. I'm going to experiment with a different camera angle. I think we've had this situation before. Yeah, it's better. Max Plath playing lock. Nice little bit of ball playing there. Tom Gilbert going absolutely nowhere, though. You know one thing that's really annoyed me? The fact that the camera should be on the other side of the ground, because all the graphics are like upside down and the numbers and stuff. But anyway. Now, Leaguie, we need one ball for the anthem. We absolutely do. So, fourth tackle, not a terrible first set so far for the Dolphins. Nice line break there, the hammer. That turns that into a very good set. Off the kickoff, they'll do a kick on the last from halfway. Slow play the ball there from Tabuai-Fidow. Marshall King way back, though, for Nikorima. Inside 40, he actually kicked it from. That would have been a 40-20 if Mariner wasn't there to catch it. So, good effort there from the winger as he goes somewhat close to the sideline, but tackled there by Tom Gilbert. Plays the ball. Ben Hunt in a dummy half. Gives it to Gambit Shibasaki. Nice little step, but the Dolphins got him eventually as he goes up to the 40-meter line. Not sure if all the Dolphins were onside there, but anyway. Crazy interchange of passing there from the Broncos. Not going any particular direction, but it was man back inside to find Reece Walsh up to the halfway line. Ben Hunt across to find Ezra Mann. There was a little gap there, and there is. Tony Staggs steps into it. Now up to the 30. Very, very good start to the game for Brisbane. Hunt again. They are on a roll here. Nice bit of ball playing finds Walsh. Tackled about 35 meters out. So last tackle here, 54 meters gain. Hunt's in at dummy half. Ball does get played. He'll go back to find Ezra Mann, who puts a distance kick in to find Jack Bostock, and they'll just try and trap him in that corner. Nice little step. Again, very close to the sideline, but the Dolphins survive that one. That was a good little run of commentary for me. I'm very happy with it. Still, that's where you have Greg Alexander coming in and taking the load off me. Where's my Greg Alexander? Okay. So on the third now, the Dolphins, Max Plath going across to find the hammer, who's been very, very involved early on, but couldn't quite find a gap there. It doesn't really feel like either team knows how to exploit gaps and find passes to put people through space. Very much like myself when I'm playing this game. They just do steps and somehow get through. That was a kick there from Max Plath. The old locks doing distance kicks. That's been something that's existed from the very, very early days of Rugby League 26. But nice run there from Walsh. Gets the Broncos up to near halfway to start their set. They're very much winning the territorial battle so far in this game. We need Ray Warren? Well, damn. I thought I was doing a good job, but okay. All right. Leaguie, give us a big smile. 6 more, the first ruck infringement of the game so far. So Brisbane will have a very good attacking opportunity at the end of this game. Of course, they scored first in the 2025 Grand Final very early on through Dean Mariner. We'll see if he can be the first to score here as well. Karapani with a nice little step, but is tackled there by Selwyn Cobbo. Former Bronco. Hunt across to find Jordan Ricky. Payne Haas with a maybe his first run of the game so far. Hasn't been especially involved the front row in these opening 15 minutes. Hunt gives it across to find Patrick Carrigan. Nice little settler. There's still 2 plays left, but they're very much within striking distance here. Across, still going to the right-hand side. Reynolds, nice little pass out to Reece Walsh, but couldn't quite find enough space behind the line there. So 1 more to go in the set. Ben Hunt will go left to try and find Adam Reynolds. Puts a kick in. It's taken there by Tommy Flegler. The man at the back. He's not exactly, a fullback doing work there to clean up, but he does draw a penalty, and that is very, very relieving for the Dolphins. Jeez, I really thought Brisbane were going to put the pressure on there, but a relieving penalty gets the Dolphins out of their own end. Very nice defensive test survived there for the Finns early on in this game. Why is it so dead, says Tiger? I'm pretty absorbed in it, to be honest. But partly because it's Rugby League 26. So on the third, they really haven't gone anywhere here, the Dolphins. This is pretty much where they started their set. Decent run there from Tommy Flegler. Probably better the match for the Dolphins so far. Marshall King decides he doesn't want to pick up the ball. Kick on the fourth there from Katoa. And it does find the ground, so that'll allow them to get up to Reece Walsh a little bit here. In the end, that's a very good kick. To get Brisbane starting their set 15 metres out from their own line, that worked out very well. Carrigan with a run now. Still only up to the 20. Campbelltown has a better atmosphere. I think I turned down the crowd noise. I can't actually turn it up because it won't make the video anyway. I'll be playing music. Yeah, crowd. Is that better? Louis God says Broncos are definitely winning in terms of field position. The Broncos are winning the field position. They might go for a 40-20 here, knowing them. They do. Although I don't think it has the angle on it. It doesn't. Very similar kick, actually, to what the Dolphins just did. But about a 10-meter advantage there to the Dolphins. The Brisbane Broncos started that set 15 out. Dolphins about 25 out. So they're wrestling back a bit of momentum here. But still, no points so far in this game, with halftime drawing ever closer. Marshall King goes to the short side to find Isaiah Katoa. Can't get an offload away, though, to Felice Kaufusi. At least, I'm assuming it's Kaufusi because it's the only ball player on the field. Lemuelu up to the halfway line now. 2 more to go in this set. Marshall King goes to the left. Kaufusi does eventually take that run up to the 40. Honestly, at this point, a 2-point field goal might not be actually that bad an idea, but I'm sure they won't go for it. Katoa will put a kick in for the corner to find the wing of Karapani. Who's tackled there, very much trapped in a corner, very close to the sideline. So I think the Dolphins have well and truly wrestled this one back. Although that's a nice little pass in behind. Billy Walters is through the line. Doesn't quite have the speed, but that's a 20-meter play. That worked out very, very well. And in fact, it's ruled to have touched the Dolphins. So that's a 0 tackle. Brisbane could really march this one up the field. Nice pass back in field. Walsh can't really step through the meat of the defense there, though. We need some Ray Rowe quotes in this commentary. This is superhuman. This is unbelievable. Carrigan up beyond the halfway line. That'll only be the third. So a few good runs here, and they'll very much be within range to score a try at the end of this set. Ricky, that's not terrible, but not great. Only 2 more to go. Ben Hunt will find Ezra Mann. Billy Walters, who seems to be playing back row or something, gets it up to the 30. 61-meter gain, not terrible, but 1 more to go in the set. Mamba's been the one doing all of the kicking. Reynolds hasn't been involved much at all. Finds Jack Bostock, who is trapped inside his own 10. So Brisbane with an opportunity here to really put on the defensive pressure. Nikorima, with a run out of his own end, but a very, very risky pass to find the hammer. I'll tell you what, the experienced 5'8" chancing his arm there. Oh, well, there we go, rugby league coach career. That would explain why that's happened. 0-0 first half, says NRL head. I think that's what we're heading for. Marshall King picked up the ball and did absolutely nothing with it there. A modest 22-meter gain for the Finns. Again, another painfully slow play the ball. Nikorima, it's charged down by his own man. Plather's got it, but is tackled. So that's ruled to be a changeover, not played out there by Patrick Carrigan. Awful last tackle play for the Finns. And the screen's frozen. Oh, no, we've got a replay. Have a watch of how this went down. He kicked it right into the noggin of Tom Gilbert. So Broncos with the best chance of the game so far. A full set on the Dolphins line. They might only need 1 tackle, but Shibasaki, the top try scorer in the comp, is tackled just a couple of meters short. There looked to be space there in the Dolphins' defense, but the Broncos couldn't exploit it. Peter Goff, that is true. Peter Goff was refereeing that. That's a good point, actually. Reynolds with the run up close to the line, only a meter short of it. The Dolphins retreating well beyond the try line, but okay, interesting defensive technique. Mann might get there. He'll get over, and he'll score. Ezra Mann with the first try of the 2026 Grand Final, right on the brink of halftime. Who would have thought the little 5'8" just taking a regulation hit up? I'll tell you what, Hamiso Tabuaifito did absolutely nothing to help Lemuelu there. Not the greatest moment from the Queensland Maroons representative. But it worked out well for Mann, and Brisbane will likely lead 6-0 here heading into the break. That's not true, Tiger. I've had a girlfriend. I've actually had multiple girlfriends. Not at the same time. Just not for a while. I do love when Adam Reynolds kicks a goal and then goes. You know, remember that time Adam Reynolds kicked a goal and went... I was there. I saw it happen. I remember. Do you guys remember? We love the $80 game. Yep, we love the $80 game. Jermaine Isako will kick us off for this last little period before halftime. Broncos will have possession, but only a couple of tackles at most, so probably won't do much with it. Ah, yes, good point, Tiger. Good point.
No, second tackle.
Man plays the ball. Ben Hunt might be able to squeeze in one more tackle beyond this. Yes, they will.
Out there, that's 3.
We'll see what they do with it. 10 seconds left in the half. Hunt gives it to Mam, who floats it, and I'm not sure exactly what the ruling was there. It was maybe tackled without the ball, but anyway, that's ruled halftime. Halftime, Broncos 6, Dolphins 0. Dolphins with a lot of work to do, even though it is only one try down. They didn't look close to scoring in that first half, so we'll see what they can do in the second. Oh, NRL had like 2021. Alrighty. Isoko kicks us off for the second half. It feels like it's been very much Broncos dominating possession here. I want to look at the stats. Yeah, decently so. 57% has gone to Brisbane. So Dolphins really do need to wrangle that back in. Ben Hunt picks it up, turns around, just has a look at his post and was like, I swear we were trying to score at that end of the field last time. Then he remembered that halftime has happened, so he turned around and had to run in the correct direction.
No, third tackle.
Played there by Walsh. Hunt gives it across to Jordan Ricky. Tackled there by Isaiah Katoa. Rugby league coaching career, I don't necessarily disagree, but I play Rugby League Live 3. I think that's even better than 4. The space here for the Broncos that they keep going through the hands, but they don't. Adam Reynolds, we all know how often he decides to hold the ball himself when there's an overlap and take a run rather than getting it to his outside man. That's absolutely classic A-Ray. Charged down there by Daniel Saifidi, and in terms of wrestling momentum back, that's exactly the kind of play the Dolphins needed. Starting a set on halfway. Let's see if they can get through it here. Oh, it's forward. Bostock was through a hole. Peter Goff rules it forward, but geez, Nikorima, he's tried his hand a couple of times so far in this game. That might be the most costly one yet. If he got the angle on that pass correct, Bostock might have been away. Stags tackled there by Plath right on halfway for the first. I think if Brisbane get the next try, it's probably wrapped up.
Out there, that's 2.
They really do just keep picking up the ball and only then deciding what to do with it. Just taking like half a second to chill. Ben Hunt did well that time, though. Oh, Ricky's a little bit of space. Tackled there by Katoa from behind. So 2 tackles left to go. They're 15 meters out. Broncos looking dangerous here. Hunt across to find Mam. Reynolds out the back to Walsh, but that's read very, very well by Cody Nikorima. On the last here, Hunt gives it to Reynolds, who'll put a bomb up. It's being chased through by some of the Broncos, but none of them will get that close to the hammer. Will they force him in goal? They won't, but the Dolphins will start this about a meter out from their own line. Some of their players literally standing over the dead ball line, but okay, solid.
No, tackle 2.
Yeah, the dummy half logic looks rough. It does.
Out there, tackle 3.
In a dummy half, Marshall King goes across to find Tom Gilbert. There was a bit of a hole if he'd kept the ball going, but he just takes the tackle. So on the 4th, they're still only 15 out from their own line here. Marshall King out the back to find Cody Nikorima. Puts a kick in. It's angled towards the sideline. I thought it might go out in the full. In a touch, it was nearly a 40-20. Very nearly a 40-20, but it will be Broncos ball again in brilliant field position. Actually, 20-40 is what I meant. Yeah, sorry, I meant to say it was nearly a 20-40, not a 40-20. Oh, what a fend. My God, that has absolutely ended the career of poor old Tommy Gilbert. By God. Hunt picks it up, does a nice little pirouette again. I mean, I didn't take Ben Hunt to be this sort of fabulous, but, oh, you know what? Just not one to be outshone. Reece Walsh does the same thing. Love that for him. Hunt gives it a very deep pass to Ricky. A fend again on Isaiah Katoa. Good God. They are bullying the Dolphins at this point in the game. 2 tackles left to go. Ben Hunt gives it to Ezra Mann. Takes a run himself. So you'd think it will go to Adam Reynolds now. On the last, 26 minutes to go. 34-meter gain. Mann plays it. Hunt gets it. Finds no. Katoni Staggs will put a bomb up. Will it be caught in goal? Looks like it. Yes, it will be. So 20-meter restart and his 7-tackle set for the Dolphins. Exactly what they needed. Nikorima with a run. He's been involved, but never necessarily in the best way. Katoa finds the hammer. Oh, they're going towards the sideline here, and they will be forced into touch, I think. Yes, eventually. That's over the sideline is Sarkos. So the Dolphins absolutely imploding here. Brisbane with one of the better chances we've seen. No, it comes right off Jordan Ricky and Selman Cobbo picks it up. 0 tackle now for the Dolphins. This match, the momentum really is swinging. I will give it that. As boring as it's been in terms of point scoring, the momentum has been swinging.
Help there. That's one.
Lemuelu plays it. Marshall King across to find Isaiah Katoa. Oh, that was nearly knocked on by Flegler. Very nearly. The pass was up high, but he ended up wrangling it in just in time. Marshall King will find Daniel Saifidi. Gets it up to about the halfway line. In fact, just a little bit over it on the third. Marshall King now to find Flegler. Ball plays to find Tommy Gilbert. A little bit of space. Nice offload. There's space out there. Nicarima runs. Can't break through though. So 2 tackles left. They're 30 out. This is probably the most likely they've looked to scoring, although that's not a very high bar. Plath, nice bit of ball playing there to find Tommy Flegler. We'll get it to about 20 meters out. They'll need to put a good attacking kick up here to really be able to do anything with it. Marshall King to find Katoa. No, they're going to go through their hands, actually. Hamisa Tabuaifido will just take the tackle. I got caught between saying Hammer and Hamiso there. So there's a changeover. Mariner will run out of his own end. The Dolphins really need to attack with their defense here. It's that point in the game where they can't let Brisbane get downfield. Piakura with a run up over the 20.
No, that's 2.
Finns need to score, says Toby. One of the great pieces of rugby league analysis I think I've personally ever seen. I would concur. The Dolphins do indeed need to score. We all know what happens when it comes to Queensland teams are pulling off comebacks, just saying. Well, we'll see. I mean, that kick will certainly help them. I think on the 4th, it was very shallow. I'm not sure what the Broncos were thinking there. And Dolphins will start this set well in Broncos territory. That is the last possible kind of kick you need in that situation. You should be trying to boot it downfield, not angling across field. Gilbert with a hit up. I think he's played pretty much the whole game. His stamina looks very, very low. Marshall King at dummy half to Nicarima. Now, Kafusi absolutely flattens one of the Broncos and gets an offload away to Lemuelu. There was a bit of space in front of him, but he will just take the tackle. So they're within 30, but only 2 tackles left here. Marshall King will find Katoa. Nice pass in field to Kafusi, but again, forced backwards hard by Broncos. That is very, very good defense from them. Only a 23-meter gain in that entire set. Marshall King for Katoa will kick across field to find the wing of Dean Mariner, who does get a step away. Tackled on the 20. That, I think, could be the set where the game was won and lost. Dolphins had a good chance there if they'd been able to get even a 40-meter gain, but they only managed 23 of them.
Second tackle.
Back to find Adam Reynolds. Will be tackled on the 30. 3rd tackle it is. Dolphins really running out of offensive possessions now.
Help there.
Pass up over the 40, so they'll probably be kicking from their own half. They do actually tackle earlier than I would have thought from inside the 40. A couple more bounces. That might have been a 40-20. Tabuaifido does not go even slightly infield. Sticks to that side, right close to the sideline. Plays it. The Dolphins really would have been well served to him going a little bit more towards the center of the pitch there.
Help there. 2.
Legman, can I change my vote? No, 90% of you, or 82% or whatever it was. Thought the Dolphins would win. I was Team Broncos in terms of my tip. Lovely pirouette there from Marshall King. We could have a whole highlights reel from this grand final of just hookers doing absolutely absolutely fabulous little twirls. Kick from inside the 40, Nicarima. Could it go out? It might. 40-20. 40-20. That's a generational play. That is a generational play. That could get them right back into this. They have a brilliant opportunity here. Cody Nicarima has been rocks and diamonds, but that's an absolute gem from him. Marshall King picks it up. Does a twirl. Takes it himself. Won't quite get to the line, but my God, he'll be close. Tabuaifido tries to get it close to the line, but can't quite make it. 3 tackles left to go. These are the tackles in which this grand final will be won or lost. They're literally just trying to go themselves. No passing at all. Marshall King gets over the line, but doesn't get it down. Looks like he was held up. Yeah, he's put on his back. They're just doing, for my American football fans, that they're quarterback sneaks again and again. 2 tackles left here. Marshall King plays it. Tabuaifido gives it to Tom Gilbert, He'll just hit it up, won't get to the line. This will be the tackle on which the Grand Finals won or lost. There's space out there on the left wing. They don't go that way. Nick Creamer puts a kick in behind it, reaches the in goal. They don't tackle the Broncos in goal, and Brisbane will be able to see out the rest of this set, I would think. I don't think Dolphins are going to get the ball back here. Nam gets it to Staggs. Katoa tackles him. It's good field position, but the clock is just running way, way too low. They need an error here. Walters plays it. Inside 3 minutes left to go on the third. Man, that ball was coming free, but has managed to hold on to it. Brisbane, minutes away from the back-to-back premiership glory. Billy Walters kicks it, so Dolphins will get the ball back. The Hammer just decides to stand looking at the sideline there. So they have maybe 2 tackles to get through here. Marshall King for Cobbo. He put on a decent little 12 there. Gets it up to nearly halfway, but they need a miracle from this position. And that's not how you do it, by just looking at the ball. Isako steps. That might be all she wrote. He doesn't play it in time, and the Broncos have done it. The Broncos go back to back. In an era where it was impossible for so long for teams to climb the mountain twice in a row, the Penrith Panthers did it 4 times, and Rugby League 26 reckons the Brisbane Broncos will do it twice in a row themselves. This veteran team, Adam Reynolds and probably Ben Hunt, finishing their careers with back-to-back premierships for Brisbane. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I'm not sure I'm the biggest fan of the outcome. It was one of the worst grand finals I've ever watched, but according to the genius masterminds at Big Air Studios, it will be the Brisbane Broncos beating the Dolphins 6-0 in the 2026 NRL Grand Final. Well, I'm glad that's over. By God, that was tough to commentate. Nothing freaking happened. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. You know that meme? Nothing at all. Well, I'll probably leave that there. I don't think there's much more to do. That actually went exactly as long as I thought it would. I thought that would take about 2 hours. Cool. All right. Well, I don't know. Thank you guys for being here. You'll be able to see the edited video on YouTube, I don't know, a few days' time, whatever. I'm still waiting on the Nazi video to be done, but I think that could be in a couple days as well. And I came up with a really good video idea today. The most awkward questions in the NRL coming into 2026. Like, is DCE past it? Like, will the Bears get good enough signings? Awkward questions. I like it. Ollie, this is not live on Twitch. So, alright. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hanging out. And I'll talk to you all later as I sing the Brisbane Broncos theme song. We're the Bronco, the mighty Bronco. We're the Bronco, the great team on the blanket of Queensland. The Bronco, the mighty Bronco. Oi.